Hi, folks. This video is going to be uh, a an overview of Digication, essentially for the folks who, because of the holiday this week, were unable to meet in class either for the full week or for half of the week. And so to try to compensate for that, this video is going to sort of guide you through the basics, and I do mean basics of education. And this won't be our only encounter with education. It's just the uh, initial beginning. Uh, that's redundant. Initial does mean beginning. Anyway, um, I beg your patience. I've already taught two classes this morning. So anyway, I have had a chance to look at Digication, the new interface, in fact, brand new interface as of this week, twice today. So hopefully I do justice to the system and to what we want to do with it. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share. Uh, And what we've got here is we've got our Jaguar page, our Tamusa homepage, as you can see. We're going to go to Jaguar. We're going to go to, we're going to log in as we would normally log in. Take care of our two-party verification system. All right. So then you're going to go to student services. Okay. So click on student services, go to student resources. You'll note down here, Digication ePortfolio. Okay. Uh, so I have several e-portfolios. You obviously won't, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to click this plus sign. It's going to allow me to, okay, yeah, click this plus sign. It's going to allow me to do that. Now, for you all, what you want to do is you want to title your Digication e-portfolio. Your first and last name, and then writer's folio or writer's folio. And then for me, because I'm doing a bunch of samples, right? You don't have to put this next part in here, but because this is the third sample I will have actually done today. Now, what you want to do is you want to choose the create from scratch template, and you want to make sure it's the one provided by way of Digication. You can click this preview to see what it's going to look like. This is what we want it to look like. Okay. Oh, and it just killed my thing. So uh I gotta type it all out again. All right. So we're gonna click. This is good review, right? Portfolio sample. No, no. Three. Okay. So we're gonna click this create from scratch template, and we are going to click create. Okay. So what we have here is what a very, very basic beginning folio looks like. It is, essentially one page. What we want to do, right, is we want to uh, begin to add some content. So the first thing we're going to do, again, it's very intuitive. Click unlock here, hit that lock here. If we go to this taskbar, you're going to see a little pencil, a gear, and a little compass, like a video game controller. And these are very intuitive, and they do what you think that they would do, right? So, for example, this little this little pencil, right, allows you to add content, write content, literally. This allows you to affect changes in the background. So, font size, color, um, add a background image, and so forth, right? And then this um, piece here, this little, again, like a bit like an old school video game controller, Nintendo controller, would allow you to move this taskbar. I don't want to move the taskbar, so I'm just leaving it as is. Um, and you have the same options here for this particular title piece here. You can delete it if you like. You can't delete the taskbar because the taskbar is the center of the functionality for Digication Folio, right? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to click this little um, pencil. Okay. Now, what this particular screen does, okay, is it allows for an outline of the entirety of the folio. And the cool thing is you can come back to this page as many times as you want, right? So I might call this first page home page, and I want to spell it correctly, but home page, okay? Now, I want to try to envision what pages I might need for my folio. And again, I can come back here and I can add pages and so forth. And I'm going to show you'll see here in a minute that I can move them around and change where they show up and how they show up in my folio. But I'm going to go ahead and add a new page, and that new page, let's say that's labor logs. Remember that you're going to be posting your labor logs beginning this week, week 2, the week of September 1st, right? You're going to be posting those labor logs weekly here in your folio. You're also every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the schedule, going to put those labor logs along with your labor journal. You're going to turn all that in together, right? Okay, on Blackboard. But we can have a page called a heading called labor logs, right? Heading called labor logs. Add new page. Let's move this page in, and I'm doing that for a reason, but we might say to September 1-7, right? Add a new page. And let's see if it's going to cooperate with me. Here we go. 2 3. Eight hyphen what 15. As you probably figured out by this point, I'm not a numbers guy, so these dates might be wrong. The beauty of it is I can always go back and change it. Let's see what else we might need. So looking at our schedule, we know we're going to have labor journals, right? So you might want a heading for labor journals. You might want reading notes. You might want in class writing, right? Writings. Again, it doesn't have to look exactly like this example that I'm building. You have some freedom, right? the principle, at least in the beginning of the semester, is that everything be easy to find. Okay. Um, and ideally you are engaging with the functionality of the folio. Okay. Beyond that, you've got a lot of leeway as to how you do this. And again, remember that as we progress through the semester, it's going to, the functionality of the folio is going to morph in terms of how we're going to use it in class. In the beginning of the semester, we're using it as a collection and a creation and collection space. Towards the end of the semester, it will be a curated space. You're going to very deliberately determine what stays in your folio, what gets excised, how that material is presented, right? You're going to make all those decisions as we move along. But we're going to keep going here. I might have, and you can see, okay, okay. So let's see what this looks like. I remember I just clicked save if you didn't see that. But so you can see I have all of these across here. And if I click on labor log, if I click on this little arrow by labor logs, I actually have, and I can, if I lock this, right? If I go off and lock this, then I can go down to these pages here. Now, that are underneath labor logs. One thing, and then if we go back and I unlock this again, we go back to where we were, you can see that everything that is directly underneath homepage shows up on that taskbar, and these that I moved underneath labor logs shows up underneath labor logs. And then if I were going to add, say for example, uh, labor journal one, okay. And again, you could title it by the week, labor journal by the week, the weeks that it covers or what have you. But I'm just doing this by way of example. I can actually move this underneath labor journals. See? And then if I save it, there it goes. Now, one thing to note about these pages is that they're all blank pages. Okay. Right now, they're all blank pages. So, for example, if I click on this labor logs, um, I might because it's going to be the first page people see or that I see if I'm going to be adding labor logs every week. It's the first page. I might put the instructions for the labor logs on this particular page, and then the different labor logs to come underneath the pages underneath. Okay, same thing with labor journals, reading notes, etc. That's a possibility for that. But again, no hard and fast rules per se with this right now. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna show you how to add some content. So right now, again, blank page, and again, if I wanted to go in here and I wanted to change this to like, if I wanted to unlock this, type in here, right? Then that's there, right? Okay, but and again, it's saving my changes automatically. It didn't used to do that. This is a new feature that's actually quite helpful. All right, but if I want to add content, I have several options. Again, please do not try to connect this system with Google Docs. As I've explained in class, it is extremely problematic. So please don't do that. Okay. Primarily, you're going to be using rich text and you're going to be using upload file and you're going to be using add a section. Okay. Let me demonstrate upload a file. So say it's what I'm going to be asking you to do um, in class, right? Is to add uh, a writer statement, a statement about you as a writer. Okay. So if I were to do that, first thing I might want to do is add a section. Well, I don't need to. Okay. We'll leave that. So now I have two sections here. Essentially, I just have another area to add content. So I'll do click content again. I'll do rich text, and I might do right something like that. Okay. So essentially, what I've done is I've created a title, right? I've created a title for what I'm going to do next. And again, I could play with the back color of that and make that look fancy. I'm not necessarily concerned about that for this demonstration. But what I want to do, what I really want to show you is this upload a file function. So we click upload a file, we click select file, and let's just pretend, what am I looking for here? What was it? Okay, let's pretend our preliminary grading contract with Incidentally is in week 2 of your Blackboard for your individual class sites. It's in week 2 under course content. But anyway, let's just pretend that is my writer statement. So I click on that file that's saved on my hard drive, and then I click upload. And what it's going to do takes a minute, it takes a couple seconds, it takes a few seconds. But what it's going to do, you'll see here. Dead air on the video. There we go. It renders it into this very nice, manageable box here. And then, it has some functionality, like you can pull it out, and if once it's saved, so you can pull it out. What's cool about this, again, is that once this whole thing is published, right, pull this out and see there it is, right? Very easy to read and so forth. Bring it back down to side. Actually, yeah, it goes here. Um, let's see how we can get it back to their other. See, everything is an experiment, and we can play around with how this works here. I think I can just let me hit escape. Yeah, if I hit escape, it just goes back to where we were. And there, yeah. So we go back here. Again, the way you figure out technology within reason is you play around with it. And that's what we're doing here. Okay. So that's how I add content. I can go further. Okay. So I can go ahead and I can add another section. And if I wanted to add a picture, I could do upload file and find a picture that way. Um, I could search an image on the internet. Uh, but let's just for fun, we'll take a picture. Ah, well, this computer doesn't have, this computer does not have um, camera availability, probably because I am actually recording a video by way of the camera at the moment. So let's just not do that. Let's X out that. So you see, though, what content and so forth is available. Now, let's um, do some very important work here. So see where it says share. You want to click share, recommended settings. Now, this is very important. You want to make it private within A&M San Antonio. What this means is it allows it to be searchable within the A&M system, within A&M San Antonio, right? Within Tamusa. But otherwise, nobody can see it. Have to be associated with Tamusa to do this. Now, what I want you to do is to type my name in here, okay? And then I want you, it's not going to let, it's because this is my, um, and you want to make sure that it's showing in the user directory, okay? But what I want you to do is type my name in there, and I want you to make me an admin on your folio. This is very key, right? So that I have access to everything at all times. Okay. You also want to do that with the members of your writing community. Okay. So that um, if they need to get on here to make comments on your work and so on and so forth, they can do that. Okay. We're going to say it's going to ask me if I want to publish. I'm going to go ahead. Okay. And see, then we can go in here and we can see all of that. Um, okay. So that is our very basic view, view of the functionality of the folio. And again, as you move through here, you can do things like you can change the colors and so forth associated with this section and this, vice versa. I'm not so concerned about that right now. Please take the time to do all that because that's very important. Presentation is important. You making deliberate decisions about how all that works on your folio is important. And ultimately, you will have opportunity to do that. I'm going to add some links to some resources as we move through. Hopefully, by the close of this week, I'll have some of those resources for you. Um, but uh, but yeah, this is the basic functionality of the folio, right? So again, this week you want to start adding, for example, your labor log for your week two. Okay. Um, and when we meet in conference next week, one-on-one conference for this week, next week, I'm going to um, try to I'm going to ask you to talk about your labor log that you will have created, right? And talk about the labor journal that you talk with me about the labor journal that you will be working on, okay, for to turn in for uh, next week, okay. So anyway, that's the basic functionality of the folio system. Play with it, um, you know, work with getting all these elements in place, making me an admin, and so on. Again, there's nothing I could do about the holiday schedule, even though it put us at a disadvantage. But hopefully, this video serves to um, account for that a little bit. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to end my screen share. Okay, stop share, stop share. Okay. And I'm going to end this video. All right. Thank you very much.